लाई नहीं जाती जुबां पर कर बला की दास्तां लाई नहीं जाती कहाँ अब्बास ने अफसोस बाजू कट गए मेरे कहाँ अब्बास ने अफसोस बाजू कट गए मेरे सकीना तक ये हर्ष के ले जाई नहीं जाती सकीना तक ये हर्ष के ले जाई नहीं जाती तड़पता है दिल लफ्ज़ों दोहराई नहीं जाती उदासी छा रही है रूह परेशान में गरीबां की उदासी छा रही है रूह परेशान में गरीबां की तबीयत है कि बहलाने से बहलाई नहीं जाती तबीयत है कि बहलाई नहीं जाती हुसैन इब्ने अली के गम में हूँ दुनिया से बेगाना हुसैन इब्ने अली के गम में हूँ दुनिया से बेगाना में कल में भी मेरी तन्हाई नहीं जाती में कल में भी मेरी तन्हाई नहीं जाती तड़प उठता लफ्ज़ों में दोहराई नहीं जाती तमाचे मार लो पहने जला लो कैद में रख लो तमाचे मार लो में जला लो कैद में रख लो के बुलबुलों से हुए ज़हराई नहीं जाती तड़प उठता है दिल लफ्ज़ों में दोहराई नहीं जाती दफनाई नहीं जाती कि तन्हाशे असगर मुझसे दफनाई नहीं जाती तड़प उठता है दिल लफ्जों में दोहराई नहीं जाती नसीरा दावतों के भी तो कुछ असूल होते हैं नसीरा दावतों के भी तो कुछ असूल होते हैं किसी बीमार को जंजीर पहनाई नहीं जाती किसी बीमार को जंजीर पहनाई नहीं जाती
गोद to make humble request to Maulana Farazdak Razavi to address the Azakhana-e-Zahra Dublin. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والجنة للموحدين والنار للملحدين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيبنا المبجل أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وخاصمهم وقرهم وقاتلين أجمعين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في قرآنه المجيد وفي قرآنه الحميد وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال أحد الظالمين. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. This article of the Quran, which I have the honor of presenting and reciting in front of you, talks to us in regards to imamats, especially when we know that today the biggest situation or the biggest controversy in the Islamic school of thought is the topic of imamat. And I'll say, why why we say that it is Imam Ali who should have been the first Khalifa, and why is it that we believe in such? The reason is simple. We, as Muslims, we follow the Quran, and we follow the Ahlul Bayt, the message of the Holy Prophet. Here openly the Holy Quran speaking that after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tried Ibrahim with certain words, He then bestowed upon him imamats. And Hazrat Ibrahim asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what of my progeny? The reply that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave is that my covenant does not include the unjust. From this we understand that imamat is the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore imamat is something which is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not what the people believe that imamat or khilafat is something which the Holy Prophet left upon the nation. No, this ayat of the Holy Quran proves that imamat is something that can only be given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same as with khilafat. When you study, Inni ja'ilka fil arda khalifa, that today I have made you, or today I am making you a khalifa on this earth. From this we understand that khilafat and imamat are called God-given rights, not something which can be chosen by mankind. Therefore we say that before the Holy Quran. We follow nothing else but the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran tells us that imamat is something which can only be given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore how can we accept something which has been chosen by man? Especially when we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all merciful. He is our creator. Therefore, I have studied the architecture. When I design a building, I'll make sure that, for example, if I have to leave the country, if I have to travel somewhere else, I'll make sure that I train somebody else behind me. I will make sure that I create a protege. Why? so that I know that when I leave the country or when I'm not available and something goes wrong with the building, for example, the electric stopped working, or the gas isn't working, there is someone there present who knows the problem, who knows how to fix it straight away. Now here's the question I have: why will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created us, He knows our ins and outs, He knows where we will face problems, He knows that mankind is such that, yes, they will face problems. Therefore, He will send down someone, and He will always constantly make sure that there's always someone in the midst of humanity who knows the ins and outs of the human mentality. So that they are there constantly to correct and guide mankind. Now we all know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 124,000 prophets. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam being the last of them. Now the question sometimes arises, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 124,000 prophets, why could He not complete, or why could He not continue prophethood? Why did He stop at Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He could have carried on prophethood up until the day of Judgment. But why did He stop prophethood with Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? After that He started Imamate. You must understand that. What is the job of the Holy Prophet? Of all the Holy Prophets, they brought down the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the prophets, 124,000 prophets, they all brought down the one message of Allah, that there is only one God. They brought that on heed. Now, to bring that message, He sent someone down to bring us that message. Now He must send someone to protect that message. That is the job of Imamate. Now the job of prophethood is to bring out the message, the job of the Imamate is to protect that message. And nowhere do we see anyone but the Ahlul Bayt protect the message of the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, better than anyone else. Never will follow them. And then I say that there is no difference between Khilafat and Imamate. If you are the Khalifa at the time, you must be the Imam of the time. There is no difference. Unfortunately, our other schools of thought, they differentiate. We say, no, if someone is the Khalifa of the time, in our school of thought, if someone is the Khalifa, he must be perfect in every aspect of the word. Yeah? It doesn't matter whether it be political or religious, he must be the best. He must be the perfection of it. We only find that in Imams, in the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, in no one else. In no other school of thought will you find anyone as perfect as the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Yet, there are so many problems today. That people speak out against the Imams, the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. They speak out against this. But you must understand that the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are the perfect of creations. Why? Especially when the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we always say that whatever is in the Holy Quran, whatever the Quran has stated, as told us, it is wajib for us to act upon. Is that correct? Yes. Now whatever the Holy Quran has said, we must obey. It is part of our religion, it is wajib upon us. Now the ayat of the Holy Quran, when the Kuffar of Makkah asked the Holy Prophet, now what reward do you want from us for guiding us into the correct path? The reply was, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. That I do not want any reward, but that you show love to my Ahlul Bayt. Now it is what the Holy Quran has told us. Now he tells us who is the true son of the Holy Prophet. Who are the true followers of the Holy Prophet? Is it other school of thought or our school of thought? People arguing, why do you commemorate Imam Hussain, why do you mourn for Imam Hussain? We mourn because we lost our master. We mourn because we lost our grand. And especially when Imam Hussain gave the sacrifice of the human life. That the sacrifice of Imam Hussain will remain until the day of judgment. There will be no greater sacrifice than that of Imam Hussain. Why? Because he gave his life for the sake of humanity. Why? He gave his life so that today, 1400 years on, we followers of the Ahlul Bayt living in the Western world, we're able to practice our religion freely. That is what we got from the tragedy of Karbala. Now today we live in the Western world. We're not Muslim. Yet we are able to practice the religion of the Ahlul Bayt. Yet let us go to the Muslim world. They call themselves Muslims. They say that they follow the Holy Prophet, they follow the Sunnah. Yet, are we allowed to practice our religion freely? Or the non-Muslims are able to practice their religion freely? The Western world has taken advantage of our Ahlul Bayt. That they have studied the Ahlul Bayt and they have taken advantage. And I remember when Tony Blair became the president, Prime Minister of the UK, my father sent a letter of congratulations, and with it he sent a copy of the Nahj al-Balagha and the Holy Quran in English. We got a reply back from Tony Blair, a letter of thanks, and with it he stated, I already have a copy of both of these books. And in that letter he said that whenever I face a problem, I realize that all my issues are resolved through both of these books. Now we understand the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inni tarikum fikum athaqalain, kitab Allah wa yatfani. That I leave behind two weighty things, the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, and they will never separate until they meet me on the day of judgment. Now one school of thought has said that the Quran is enough for me. Yet let us look at it today. We all know that the Quran is not enough. Now let us look at the other school of thought. We have taken hold firmly both of the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt the way it should have been. Today we are the most powerful nation on earth. Like I say, that whatever is happening in the world, in the Shia world, the way we are being massacred, the way we are being oppressed, never think of it as our loss. This martyrdom, this oppression is our victory. Why? Because they are starting to fear us. They know that we are on the correct path. Because we know that Ahlul Bayt, the Quran does not make sense without Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And the Ahlul Bayt does not make sense without the Holy Quran. They both complement each other. And I advise to the youth that read the Holy Quran. If you're not able to understand certain aspects of the Holy Quran, then study the life of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Right? Because they are the translations of the Holy Quran. That there is no perfect translation of the Holy Quran than the lives of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Whatever the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam done was a part of Islam. Was a part of the Holy Quran. If it wasn't a part of the Holy Quran, or if it wasn't a part of Islam, it became a part of Islam. Why is I gave that example in one of my lectures? That, why is it mustahab when we pray namaz before we say takbiratul ihram? Why is it mustahab that we say Allahu Akbar 7 times before we say the act of takbir? Because when we look towards Imam Hussein's childhood, when the Holy Prophet was teaching the Imam Hussein's it took Imam Hussain 7 tries before he was able to complete the Allahu Akbar. It became part of our namaz. It is mustahab. That before you takbir al-ihram, you say Allahu Akbar 7 times, and then recite the namaz. Whatever the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam done became part of Islam. Whichever aspect you look at it, they all were perfect in the whole world. There is no one more perfect than the Ahlul Bayt. These are our weapons today. That through the Ahlul Bayt everyone fears us. Why? Because they know they have no obstacles. If we truly follow and obey the teaching of the Ahlul Bayt, that is what is far more important. Now yes, we are only nobody. We have only Imam Hussain, we have Imam Hussain, we have Imam Hussain. But are we acting according to their teachings? How did Maulana teach us to behave with others? Well, the perfect example of childhood. We have children here. Imam Hussain and Imam Hussain, they enter the masjid of the Holy Prophet and they go to do wudu. They see an old person who is doing wudu in the incorrect manner. Now, if we were in that situation, how would we behave? Even today, I'm one of those people that if I see something which is happening, which is incorrect, I stop laughing. I can't control my laughter. If I see someone who's doing something incorrect, but I knew he should have been doing it the correct way, I start laughing. I know 90% of the children will do the same. That, the first thing that comes to mind is, look how old this person is. He still doesn't know how to do it. This is how 90% of us will think. Yet, how did Imam Hussain and Imam Hussain think? That it is our duty to correct this person. And how can I correct this person without embarrassing or without insulting him? That is more important. How to correct him without insulting or embarrassing him. They went to the person and said, please can you see which one of us is doing wudu in the correct manner? Imam Hussain and Imam Hussain start doing the wudu. The whole person realized his own mistake. He goes, no, you are both on the correct, I was on the incorrect path. And thank you for correcting me. Now this is how we should behave. Especially when we know that we have a responsibility on our shoulders today to propagate the true form of Islam. The true form being the teaching of the Ahlul Bayt. What is the sole message of the Holy Quran? What is the sole message of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam? How to become better human beings. The message of the Holy Quran is betterment of humankind. How we should be? What is the Quran? Quran, incidents of history. It's a history book. You start from Hazrat Musa and how the people treated Hazrat Musa, Hazrat Isa, Hazrat Sulaiman, all the prophets, all mentioned. Why do we study history? We study history so that we can see the mistakes of the past, through which we can learn and correct our present and future. This is why we study history. When we study the Holy Quran, the stories from the past, through which we learn the mistakes of humankind, the mistakes of humanity, and then able to protect ourselves and correct ourselves. This is what history is, this is what the Holy Quran is. But with it, we need a physical aspect. In today's world, when you study modern day sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, you have one which is the theoretical aspect, you have one which is the practical aspect. In our lives, in our religion, the theoretical part is the Holy Quran, the practical are the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Now they are the true translations of the Holy Quran in the physical world. Now they have told us how to do wudu, how not to do wudu. They have told us how to pray. All of these laws can be found in the Holy Quran. But how many of us are educated enough to read the Holy Quran and understand the messages? They're not. Therefore we need someone wisdom to guide us. Ahlul Bayt alayhi salawat. Therefore today, we live in a society where the Muslims are under attack from all directions. Or from out of the Muslim world and from within the Muslim world. The Shias of the Ahlul Bayt are under attack, constant attack. Now it is our duty to teach the world the true form of Islam. I've always said that since the time of the Holy Prophet there has always been two forms of Islam. One is the political form of Islam, one is the true form of Islam. The true form taught to us by the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and the political taught by others. Now it is our duty to teach the rest of the world the true face of Islam. That the true message of Islam is that we must respect humanity. That's the only way that we know Islam. How to treat others, how to respect others. Imam Hussain Islam is famous when he was falling on his land on the outskirts of Medina. He sees the enemy of his father from Syria. The minute that person sees Imam Hussain Islam, he starts to curse. Imam Ali and Imam Hussain Islam. What did Imam Hussain reply? How did you reply? And let us look at that in today's context. If we were in that exact situation, how would we behave? That someone is cursing your father, someone is swearing by your father, someone is disrespecting your father. How would you behave? And let us look at Imam Hussain Islam. That he asked that person, oh brother, you're a stranger in the city, are you in need of a place to live? Are you in need of money? Are you in need of clothing? Are you in need of food? Let me know and I will help you. And I will supply everything that you need. That person, seeing this mentality of the Imam, he became a follower of the Ahlul Bayt. Today we should be such that in the outside world, through our behavior, through our characteristics, the people look at you and say that this is a follower of the Holy Prophet. Not that I have to say to the rest world that I am a Muslim. No, your action should be enough to say that, yes, this person is a Muslim, he's a follower of the Holy Prophet. Why? Because this is how I see the Holy Prophet. This is what I heard about the Holy Prophet. Not that someone has to ask you that, what are you, what is your belief? No. Through your actions, through your behavior, the way you treat others, people should be able to know that this person is a Muslim. He's a follower of the Holy Prophet. He's a follower of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Especially when today, the whole world knows the difference between Shias and non-Shias. That we are constantly under attack. The only way we can counteract this is through our behavior. Perfect example is that of the Holy Prophet. The Holy Prophet, as Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, announced his prophethood at the age of 40. Yet before the age of 40, the people of Makkah bestowed upon him two titles, As-Sadiq and Al-Amin, honest and trustworthy. Imagine, he was given the title honest and trustworthy before he had even announced Islam. So when at the age of 40, the Holy Prophet announced Islam to the world, people came running towards him, Why? Because they knew of his behavior from before. They knew that he was honest, they knew he was trustworthy. Therefore they came flocking towards the Holy Prophet. Today our behavior should be such. That wherever I am, whether I'm at work, whether I'm at school, at universities, it should be enough for me to state that my behavior is such. We all know that actions are far stronger than words. That your first impression is always a lasting impression. We always say that, never judge a book by its cover. But unfortunately we all judge a book by its cover. The first impression always counts. Now it's up to you, or it's up to us. How do we want the world to know about Muslims? What do we know the world to know? That the Western world has propagated Islam in such a way that everyone thinks that Islam is a religion of barbarity. Islam is a religion of terrorism. But in fact, no, Islam is a religion of love. Right? The message of Allah has proven to the rest of the world. Now the Holy Prophet did not want anything but love. This is our message to the rest of the world. I remember after 9/11 there was this joke we heard about. In regards, and this is how, through this joke, it's a reality today. That after 9/11 attacks in Central Park, New York, the dog attacked a girl. A Caucasian white person killed the dog and saved the girl. Next day, the newspaper headline news. That hero saved dog. Hero saved the girl by killing the dog. The exact same incident took place another day. This time, unfortunately, it was Muslim. That the dog attacked the girl, and a Muslim helped protect the girl and kill the dog. Next day in the newspaper, headline article is that Muslim terrorist kills dog. This is how Islam is being portrayed in the rest of the world. Through media, we are being brainwashed. The rest of the world is being brainwashed through media. This is how Muslims are. No matter what, Muslims will always be like this. They're all terrorists, all barbarians. No, it is our duty to now change that image. The only way we can change that image is through our behavior, through our lasting impression, through the first impression, which we portray upon others. Now, no, this is a Muslim. These are not Muslims. Muslims do not behave in this manner. Muslims are completely different. The world today realizing that ISIS is not part of Islam. Don't know. But unfortunately, when we look in the media, they're portraying the ISIS as the face of Islam. ISIS today, according to the CIA report, has 1,500 members. Population of Muslims in the world, 1.7 billion. Now, turn that into percentage. ISIS, the percentage of ISIS, less than 0.5%. Yet, they are the face of Islam. How is this happening? First, the enemies of Islam. They propagated ISIS. Second, the rest of the Muslim world hasn't spoken out. They have spoken out, but the way they should have spoken out, they haven't. Yes, the Muslim countries are speaking out. But me, as a civilian, when I'm walking on the streets, what religion am I portraying? Am I portraying the behavior of ISIS? Or am I portraying the behavior of the Holy Prophet? This one we must look about within ourselves. And me as a child, yes, childhood, we all misbehave, no doubt. We all rowdy, we all raucous, we all boisterous. Yet, we must now curb that. Turn it in something where people look at him, yes, he's a child, yet look at the way he's well behaved. He must be Muslim. When I was a child, we went to the supermarket, we went to the shopping center, we went to Tesco's. My father has a habit that when he gets home, he calculates everything, matches what he has bought with the receipt, he tallies everything. We came home one day, we found out that the cashier hasn't charged us for a bag of apples. My father looked at us, my brothers and sisters, and he said, what should I do? We said, it's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's eat and be happy, forget about it. Oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my father said, no, you have to return it, you have to pay for it. Why? Because it's unjais, it is not permissible in Islam, it's stolen good. Next day we went back to the supermarket. My father went to the cashier and said that you haven't charged me for this fruit bag of apples. Either charge me or take the fruit back. The cashier is shocked. She does not know what to do. She goes running and calls the manager of the supermarket. The manager comes and asks my father, you must be a Muslim. My father went, how do you know? He goes, your behavior told me such. Because when I was a student, I was studying theology at university. And they taught us about Islam. This is the behavior of those Abrahamic faiths. That the Abrahamic faith is such that whatever you do, you're constantly thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the only way we can constantly think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through the teaching of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Therefore it is our duty to promote this Islam. Especially when the rest of the world knows the difference. That the rest of the world, the non-Muslims have studied our Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And they're taking it. Yet we as Muslims, what are we doing? We know we have the best books in our hand. We have the Shab-e-Ashur. I was in Australia, in Sydney, a few years ago. And I was reading the Sydney Herald. And there's an advert that they're opening the first museum of etiquette and mannerisms in Sydney. Well, this is something new. I've never heard of a museum of etiquette and mannerisms. I've seen history museums, science museums. But this is the first time I've seen a history of a museum regarding mannerisms and etiquette. Opening day, I went to the museum. I found out that they have gathered all the books that they could find in regards to etiquette, good manners. And I placed it around the walls, on all four sides. And I placed it such that you could open the books, you could view the books, you could turn the pages and see what the views are. Yet there was this one centerpiece in the middle of the hall. The book in the middle of the hall, it was cased. You could not look at it, you cannot change the view, but it was in Hebrew. I asked the curator of the museum, what's so special about this book? It was that this is the best book of mannerisms we could find till date. Oh, what's this book called? It was, this is the book of your Imam. I'm a which Imam? It was the book of Amir al-Mu'mineen called Nahj al-Balagha, the peak of eloquence. Now how many of us have opened Nahj al-Balagha? Do anywhere on the face of it, do we see anything in regards to etiquette and manners? We see the letter of one politician to another, for example, the letter of Amir al-Mu'mineen to ashra. We see his replies to Muawiyah. We see his sayings, we see his sermons. But how do these people figure out that this is the best book of mannerisms and etiquettes? It's for us to go into this book, sink ourselves inside the book, and then see what we are able to find. Now, for example, the letter, the advice of Imam Hussain is from one politician to another. Why? Because it was when Imam Hussain said Malik Ashtar as the governor of Egypt. This is when he gave him this letter. Yeah, when we look at it and we put that context into our personal life, we learn how to rule our family, how to teach our children, how to behave with our children, how to behave with our society members, how to behave with our neighbors. We learn all of this from one letter, which on the face of it is a diplomatic letter. This is how Ahlul Bayt are. Now no matter what aspect you look at the Ahlul Bayt from, they always make sense. And they're always there to guide us. This is why we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Aliyyun waliyullah. That I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. I bear witness that Ali is the wasi of Allah. You don't say that they were the messenger of Allah, or he was the messenger of Allah, or he was the wasi of Allah. No, why? Because in our eyes, the Ahlul Bayt are still alive. Because they sacrificed themselves for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what the Holy Quran proves it, that those who die in the way of Allah, do not think of them as dead, but they are still alive and gaining sustenance from their Lord. The Ahlul Bayt are still alive. They're there to guide us in every aspect. But it is for us to have that connection with the Ahlul Bayt. And they're saying in English, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I know it's incorrect terminology. It's something which does not befit the level of the Ahlul Bayt. But I could not find anything similar. But the way it is true. That we must be constantly thinking about the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam for them to guide us. Not that I only think of Ahlul Bayt when I need them to, when I need to. Now, I'm facing certain problems, therefore I do a mannat that I fast for 3 days if my mannat is accepted. Or I'll do a majlis. No, constantly remember the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Constantly remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why the promise of Allah, one of the biggest promises of Allah in the Quran for humanity. They that remember me and I will remember you. There's the message of Allah, there's the promise of Allah to humanity. But we must remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We must remember the Ahlul Bayt for them to remember us in return. Why? Because the Ahlul Bayt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of us. In fact, we are in need of them. Right? We constantly need the Ahlul Bayt. We constantly need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It isn't the other way around. Unfortunately, we think it's the other way around. Yeah? By praying namaz, we think that we are glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of glorification. He is all glorious, He is all merciful, He is all powerful. We are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This last message of Amir al-Mu'mineen message, the hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen, where he says that if you want to remember Allah, if you want to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then read the namaz. And if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to speak to you, then read the Holy Quran. What perfect, what better message than this do we need? That we all want to speak to our Creator. We all want our Creator to speak back to us. We have both of them. The question is how many of us are willing to take this seriously? For the past 10 nights we've been commemorating, the martyrdom of Hussain and Ali alayhi salam. Which in the Quran has been mentioned as the Azim, the greatest sacrifice. And today we realize that there has been no greater sacrifice than that of Hussain. That through him we are peacefully living today. That through him humanity still exists. We see on the night of Ashura, everyone is preparing themselves for battle. Yeah, you see Janabi Habib ibn Madahir polishing his sword. You see now Muslim of Nahosada tying a plank of wood on his back so that he can straighten his back. So that in the battlefield no one thinks of him as weak. You see Hazrat Abbas al-Islam preparing his nephews, saying that do not embarrass your fathers, do not embarrass me on the day of when Islam needs you. You see all the mothers are controlling their children. They're preparing their children for battlefield. You see Janab Zainab sallallahu alayhi speaking in Janab Maulana Muhammad, saying that you have the blood of Ali ibn Abi Talib and Jafar ibn Riyad inside you. Do not embarrass them tomorrow. Yet, there's one mother. She's holding a 6-month-old child in her arms. Imagine what she is going through. I would not be surprised if even she is going to her son, the Nabi alayhi salam. Oh, tomorrow there will be a time where your father and your religion and the religion of your forefathers are in need of you. And that day you will be my sacrifice to Islam. When we come on the day of Ashura, everyone has sacrificed themselves to Islam. Imam Hussain has now prepared himself for battle. He goes into the field and he cries out, all of a sudden the Imam hears that the women of the tent, the women of the camp are weeping and crying. Imam Hussain comes running towards the battle, towards the tent. He sees that all the women are crying and asks them what has happened. Well, the minute you said, Alhamdulillah, threw himself off the cradle. He fell into the sunbeams of Karbala. Imam Hussain picks up the number of the ashra. He takes him to the battlefield saying that maybe the enemy will see the child and seek forgiveness and feed as water. He goes into the battlefield, he shouts out, he cries out to the enemy. Says that I have brought my 6-month-old child who is dying of thirst. I'm only asking you for some water for my 6-month-old child. If you think that through this excuse I will drink the water, then here I will place my child onto the sand and take a step back. The enemy seeing this start to tremble, start to realize that they are on the incorrect path. That there's a 6-month-old child, he's an innocent child. And there's a revolution starting to take place in the back of the enemy. All of a sudden, Umar ibn Sa'd gives orders to Hurmala to silence the Imam. How does he silence the Imam? He picks up an arrow a three-pronged arrow which is used to hunt animals. A three-pronged animal, a spear, a three-pronged arrow which is there to be used hunt animals with, yet that is used on a human man. He looks towards the Azakhana-e-Zahra, even though he has tears in his eyes. History says that he took the arrow, he shot 3 times. On the 3rd time he hit this target in such a way where Azakhana-e-Zahra's throat was slit ear to ear. The arrow went through the neck and speared Imam Hussain on his shoulders. Imam Hussain gathered the water, gathered the blood out of Azakhana-e-Zahra. He looks towards the skies. As if you throw the blood into the sky shouts back that, oh Hussein, if you throw this blood into the sky will never rain. It will never rain from the skies until the day of judgment. Imam Hussain looked towards the earth, the sun cries out, oh Hussein, you throw this water on this, you throw this blood onto the ground, there will be no plantation up until the day of judgment. Imam Hussain then looks towards, who pours the blood over his forehead, over his face, saying that I will meet my grandfather on this day. He goes back towards the camp and he's thinking, how can I present Shab-e-Ashur to his mother? His mother is waiting. His sister, Bibi Sakina Salamullah, is waiting, thinking that Shab-e-Ashur will return with his thirst quenched. Yet what we see is that his thirst is quenched, but with what? With his own blood. As Imam Hussain walks forwards and backwards 7 times, saying, Inna Allah wa inna alayhi raji'un. Rather than qada'ihi wa tasliman li amrihi, until the spear disappears and he buries him. Yet, let us look at the cowardice of the enemies. That on the day of Shab-e-Ashur, when they are looking for the heads of the Ahlul Bayt, you see that there is one head which is missing, and that's the head of the 6-month-old child. Maulana goes into the camp, throwing his spear into the floors so that he can find the body of the Nabi. He pokes the ground, he sees that the blood starts gushing from the land. He digs up the grave. He surveys the head of the Nabi and places it up on the spear. Inna Allah wa inna alayhi raji'un. Wa tasliman.